Alright, what's going on everyone out there on YouTube? NES Ruler, and welcome to a brand new review. And this time around we'll be checking out a series of films that was sent to me review by 88 Films, and you can pick this up on Blu-ray at all your favorite online retailers. It is a Hong Kong film series from the 80s and 90s titled In the Line of Duty. So this is the first 4 films in this series. I think there's about 9 total that came out between 1985 and 1991, 92, 93, early 1990s. But these are the first 4 films. I know as the series goes on, they're kind of title-only kind of films. They don't really have anything continuity-wise to tie them all together, besides the main themes of having a strong woman police officer, CIA agent kind of character be our main central main character throughout all these films. That's like the main theme of all these movies. So the first film, which is titled, let's get these out of here, titled Royal Warriors, was actually made after the second film. So this came out in 1986 and stars Michelle Yeoh, of course, who is, recently became a pretty popular person in the entertainment world, but she first started out with these films. In the Line of Duty 2 was actually the first film that she was ever in. So, Royal Warriors, they aren't called In the Line of Duty yet, but Royal Warriors is the first film, like I said, from the year 1986. Now, this movie is kind of interesting. It has some pretty well-done fight scenes. I feel like this movie is pieced together by their fight scenes. There's one in the beginning, one in the middle, and one at the end. And they're all tied together in a pretty okay story. Not the best story, but we follow Michelle Yeoh's character. She is a police officer, and one day she is taking an airplane that is hijacked by these militants, and she ends up killing a couple of them. And her and this, I think it's a security guard, ends up teaming together because they learn that these people that they've killed are part of this veteran group that have been together since the war. They don't really say what war. I would assume it's probably Vietnam based on the scenery, but they learn that their remaining comrades are kind of pissed off that they killed them, so they start to hunt them down and kill Michelle Yeoh and the security officer and their family. And basically it all accumulates in a scene where they blow up the car of this security officer that has his wife and small child in it. And that's the funny part with these Blu-rays. They've gotten so good quality that, during this car explosion scene, you could pause it at the right moment and you could see the awesomeness that is Dummies. Because back in the day, they got to do stuff for real. But I feel like these Hong Kong films, when they do dummy deaths, they're actually not that horrible looking, and this one definitely looks okay. I mean, if you really pause it and look at it, they actually look pretty good for dummies, so I give it credit for that. So after they blow up the car, of course, now they're on a quest to find out who murdered the security guard's family, and along the way, more people get murdered, and it accumulates in this scene in this construction yard between Michelle Yeoh and this security guard and the last remaining militant, and it ends in your typical Hong Kongian way with a huge fighting climax with a lot of explosions and things like that. So Michelle Yeoh does a pretty good job in this one. Like I said, she was discovered a year before this film, so she's had a little bit of acting experience at this point. And, she always wanted to do stunts herself. That's what I respect about these Hong Kong martial art films, that a lot of the time the actors really took a lot of brute force when they were doing their scenes. They really did get messed up and beaten up a lot of the time. So I respect Hong Kong cinema for that aspect. Is it the best action film that I've seen from there? No. Is it watchable, entertaining? Absolutely. Everybody does a good job. It has the cheesiness that you expect from a Hong Kong film. Of course, these have the original language dub, regular original Cantonese language track on it, as well as the English dub track for all these films. Of course, I watch in Cantonese because dub, I just feel like you lose a lot in translations, and I don't really like to watch dubs of any films unless maybe anime films. I'll watch dubs just because it's not as distracting with the mouths not really lining up. But a lot of these movies were shot with no sound anyway, and they did ADR at the end, so it's not really that smooth anyway. But overall, entertaining film. Like I mentioned, it has audio tracks. It looks good. It doesn't look like amazing or anything like that, but it looks good. Brand new 2K restoration. All these have 2K restorations with them. None of them are 4K or anything like that. But like I said, it has a 2K restoration. This one doesn't have that many features to it. It just has a commentary track by a Hong Kong film expert and some missing airplane inserts, which are hilarious if you watch them. I understand why they took them out. And that airplane scene in the beginning is awesome. I mean, you could tell they're filming it on a film set and not in a real airplane. So it's that kind of level of cheesiness that I found with these movies. So Royal Warriors, good time. Michelle Yeoh does an awesome job as always. And with all these films, you get your Blu-ray, and then you get the original cover art, reversible cover art. So that's Royal Warriors. I'm going to pause, and we shall come back, and we shall review In the Line of Duty 2, which is Yes, Madam. Be right back. All right, welcome back to this review of the In the Line of Duty series. Next up is the second film in the series from the year 1985. So this movie was actually made a year before the first film in the series that we just talked about, and that is Yes, Madam. So this is the film debut of Michelle Yeoh. This is the first film that she ever did, and it's weird that it came out second in the franchise. I don't know in Hong Kong if it came out before or after. I'm not entirely sure, but for some reason this is the second film in the franchise. So that's Yes, Madam. This also stars what's her name? Christina Rothwerk, who is a American martial artist who worked a lot in Hong Kong cinema in the 80s and into the 90s. You'll see her pop up in a lot of stuff. She was a very trained and skilled martial artist. During the special features, there's a pretty good, 25-minute interview with her where they talk about how she got into movies and things like that. We'll talk about that in a little bit. But she's a very skilled martial artist, and you see that in this film. So Yes, Madam, once again, follows the theme of following two strong police women cops. All these movies have that. And they are going after these criminals who are trying to... they ultimately... they assassinated this chief bureau in London because they were in on a fraud deal. And there's a little piece of tape that Michelle Yeoh and Christina Rockworth. So these all movies all blend together. That's the main theme with these movies. They all blend together very, very easily, especially if you watch them all in a row like I did. They really blend together, which is fine. It doesn't demean them, but part of my talking if I mix them up and things like that as the reviews go on. But basically, they're after this tiny little piece of film strip that is that shows the corruption that this agent was after who got assassinated. So it's basically them just going after this group, and along the way they meet all their hoodlums and things like that. And it's basically Michelle Yeoh trying to work with these this British agent and them trying to figure things out. This movie isn't as action-packed as the first film in the series. The movie really does accumulate in a pretty awesome fight scene towards the end of the film in the third act, where they all meet these criminals who are in charge of this, who are after this film cell, which will prove their innocence or prove them to be responsible for the assassination of this agent. So it's a really awesome, 25-minute fight scene between Michelle Yeoh and Christina Rothwerk's character against all these hoodlums in this really amazing house, awesome house with this awesome wooden staircase. It's just a really sweet looking set. I don't know where they found it, but I'd be curious if they filmed any other movies in it because it's just really awesome. A lot of glass everywhere that people are going through and falling through, and everything like that. The acting in this movie, it's the same. You know, you get what you get with your Hong Kong um, action films. Again, like I said before in the last review, this has the original Cantonese audio track on it along with the English dub. But of course, everything was dubbed at this point. They filmed this movie with no sound. But for the first film, Michelle Yeoh does a good job. She wasn't a martial artist. She was a ballerina from what I remember. So the fact that she got thrown into this and was able to hold her own in the way that she does without having any martial arts training whatsoever was pretty impressive. She definitely holds her own, and she takes a little bit of brute force. This movie has a pretty entertaining car chase in the second act of the film. If you guys remember my first review of the first film, I said there's an entertaining beginning, a middle, and an end. That's all pieced together with the story, and I feel like this movie follows the same suit, where there's an entertaining beginning scene, an entertaining middle fight scene, and an entertaining ending fight scene. And this one is more of the case, but this time it's a really awesome, like, it's even on the front cover, this awesome, like, tank kind of vehicle that is in this car chase scene. It's just crazy. Stuff that they would never get away with today if they would ever film movies. It's kind of in the similar realm of the Blues Brothers ending, similar crazy-ass car chase like that film. So there's some interesting and entertaining car chases in all these movies, but in particular this one. So, yes, Madame, it's a good time. Nothing special, but I feel like everybody does a good job. Special feature-wise, like I said, there is a interview on this with Christina Rothwurst, which is about 20 minutes. Talks about how she became an actress and how she got into making Hong Kong films and martial art films, and her experience on set of this film, considering it was her first film, and all that kind of stuff. Really interesting, like 25-minute featurette, brand new featurette. And then also, I know there's another... you got the auto commentary by the same guy from the first film, The Expert, and then you have some scenes commentary track by Christina Rothwurst and this expert, and then you got an interview with Meng Hui, which is an actor in most of these films, and then an archive interview with Michelle Yeoh, which is, it's fine. It's an older archive interview, nothing special. Of course, she probably wouldn't be available to do anything new because of her recent fame, but it's an okay interview. And then you have a Hong Kong trailer. So overall, another nice package here from 88 Films. Much more deep in the feature-wise compared to the first film. But here is the artwork. And then you have the original Hong Kong artwork on the reversible cover art. So, overall, another good effort by Michelle Yeoh, entertaining, and check it out if you guys get this box set. So that's my review of Yes, Madame, In the Line of Duty 2. We'll be back and we shall review the third film in a minute. Alright, welcome back. Next up, we have the film In the Line of Duty 3 from the year 1988. So this film, they started to call them by the series name, In the Line of Duty 3. They lost the just the titles that came before the series name. So this one just called In the Line of Duty 3. Pretty interesting, but that's just the way that it goes. So this film, we follow a detective, Otaka. He is a police detective in Japan who one night during a jewelry show, this man and this woman shoot up the place and ultimately kill his detective friend, who is also his assistant. So this pisses him off, and he's determined, of course, to track down this husband and wife that we learn who was responsible for the murder of his partner. They ultimately flee to Hong Kong, and that is where we are introduced to Cynthia Han's character, who takes over from Michelle Yeoh in these films. She plays a rookie cop, and she is brought into this story when the husband and wife, like I said, flee to Hong Kong, and Otaka is on their heels. And when they get to Hong Kong, they start to do what they usually do, and they start to murder people and they ultimately get thrown into this crime story of tracking down this husband and wife character. So this one is pretty a simple story. It's just a chase, finding these two people and going after them. It's nothing special. Like I said, there's a beginning fight scene, a middle fight scene, and an ending fight scene. You're going to get that in all these films. This one, the beginning was the shootout. This, in the middle, there's another pretty entertaining car chase scene. And at the end, there's the final battle between the husband and wife. And that's what you're going to get with most of these Hong Kong action films. They're not the most deep when it comes to their narratives, but they are at least entertaining enough where anybody who likes action films are going to like these movies. I think Cynthia Khan does a good job for taking over for Michelle Yeoh. Like I said, they're not the same characters or anything like that, but Michelle Yeoh was the face of the franchise for the first two films. So coming in to this one, Cynthia Khan kind of had a little bit of big shoes to fill, because at this point, Michelle Yeoh's been around for 3 years, so she's starting to turn into a pretty big star in martial arts films over in Hong Kong. So overall, another entertaining film, not too much deep depth in this one. Same 2K restoration from the original negatives. Looks good, sounds good. Original 2.0 Cantonese, as well as a dubbed. New subtitles with this one to go along with the Cantonese dub, as well as a commentary track by two Hong Kong experts, filmmakers experts. And then you have an interview with John Sham, who is the founder and producer of D&B Films, which is the production company which released all these films in Hong Kong, who discovered Michelle Yeoh. Pretty great interview with him. It's about a half an hour interview, pretty recent, so a lot of stuff in there that I appreciate, and it's a pretty good interview. I recommend you guys check it out if you listen to this one. He was an actor, and he's in some of the earlier films as well, so that's a pretty interesting featurette on there. Then you got the Hong Kong trailer, the English trailer, and the English credits. So just one interview on this set. No archival interviews or anything like that. It's fine. But overall, it's more of the same with the first two films. Just what you're going to get with a lot of these Hong Kong crime films. They're pretty much all the same. But it's all about the cinematography and the fight scenes, choreography, and all that kind of stuff that you come to see when it comes to these movies. So ultimately, In the Line of Duty 3, good time. Everybody does a good enough job, and it holds together with some entertaining fight scenes, particularly at the end between the wife and the husband. So again, got your reversible cover art with the original Hong Kong poster, as well as your disc, which just says In the Line of Duty 3. So it's a fun film. Check it out. Of course, you're going to check it out if you're picking up this box set, but if you like Hong Kong films, I feel like you guys are probably going to like this one too. And last up, we have In the Line of Duty 4, which I'll be back. This one stars some pretty popular people recently, so we'll talk about that one in a second, and I shall be back. So see you guys in a minute with the last review, In the Line of Duty 4. See you guys. All right, finishing up this series review of this box set released by 88 Films is In the Line of Duty 4 from 1989. So this is probably my favorite of the 4 films in this box set. Is it the best made film? Probably not. But does it have the most interesting characters? Probably. And this film stars Donnie Yen, who of course has started to become a little bit more popular here in the States over the last, 10 years or so. Of course, he was just in John Wick 4, so he's starting to get a little bit more praise for his work here in the States. Deservingly so, but very much like Michelle Yeoh, he started off in these low-budget Hong Kong action films, and this is one of them. So Cynthia Khan returns in this film as well. This one starts in Seattle, and we follow Donnie Yen and Cynthia Khan's character. God, tongue twisters, as well as Donnie Yen's partner as they trail this cocaine deal that's happening in Seattle. The film begins with one night there's a truckload of cocaine coming in from Hong Kong. It's basically these three characters trying to track down who is responsible for trafficking this drugs into the United States. As the first act progresses, we learn that one of the main gangs that is slinging these drugs is ran by a CIA informant, one of the main people who work for the CIA. Donnie Yen's partner sees this, takes a photograph of this deal going on. He ultimately gets killed, and this turns into a revenge tale for Donnie Yen and Cynthia Khan as they try to track down and expose this corrupt CIA agent and this underground drug ring that is happening in the United States. And along the way, we learn that Donnie Yen's other partner, he's corrupt. He's part of the deal. He's trying to protect the CIA agent, and there's a lot of more twists and turns along the way. But overall, this film, while it covers a very similar series of events to the first three films, I feel everybody does a good job. The scenery of Seattle kind of breaks up the monotony of having all other three films take place in Japan and Hong Kong. It's nice to have a little bit of a different setting with these films, and having some fresh blood like Donnie Yen, who does a pretty great job in this movie, carries this film. He really does carry this film. He's actually quite good. He knows how to fight. I feel like I watched In the Line of Duty 5 too, which isn't included in this box set. But that film, you could tell none of the actors knew how to fight. I mean, the main lead female officer in that film, you could tell that she had some martial arts background. But the guy had no fighting background whatsoever, and I feel like Donnie Yen definitely could carry his own in this film. So it's basically just a drug ring, breaking up a drug ring kind of a story. And along the way, a lot of twists and turns and crossing each other. And the film ends with this epic fight scene on this roof between Donnie Yen's character and this huge, muscular black guy, American black guy. Which, from what I've seen, he starred in some other of these Hong Kong martial art films from what I looked up. But that scene is on the back cover. But it ultimately ends in a pretty entertaining way, like all these movies do. So I feel like this one has the strongest characters, strongest stories, some of the better acting performances, some of the better fight performances. Overall, I think this movie is actually pretty good. All these movies are actually pretty good. You wouldn't assume that, but all four of these films are actually pretty solid for a series that usually doesn't happen, where you have four films which are actually pretty solid. And the fifth film, well, it's nowhere near as good as these four. It's still okay. And I'm curious to see if 88 Films does another box set with the other 5 films. I think, like I said, there's 9 films in the series. I'd be curious to see if 88 Films does another release, because the 5th film, In the Line of Duty 5, it has some title before. They go back to not naming it In the Line of Duty 5. It's produced by D&B, which produced all these other films. So I'd be curious to see if 88 Films has the rights to those films and they end up doing another box set with the other 5 films. I think that'd be pretty cool. The 5th film does have an HD transfer. I watched it on Tubi, so it's not like it doesn't have an HD transfer somewhere out there. So we'll see what happens. But In the Line of Duty 4, definitely my favorite out of the 4 films in the set. Let's go back to the features. Brand new 2K restoration, like all these films. And then we have the original Cantonese with English subtitles, 2.0 English dub, as well as an auto commentary with the 2 experts from the last film, and then an archival commentary by another Hong Kong expert, and an archive interview with Donnie Yen, which is pretty old. It's in 4:3 standard depth, so you can tell it's pretty old. So no new interviews on this release or anything like that. A lot of archives and a couple new commentary tracks, but great artwork on this. And then you have the disc with Cynthia Khan and Donnie Yen, and then the reversible cover art of the original Hong Kong poster. So let's talk about the packaging of the box set. It is very nice. You get some goodies with this as well. So you get this really nice hard case from 88 Films with some cover art of all the characters from all 4 of the films. Of course, the females are prominent because they are the main stars of this series. And then inside you get a couple posters as well as a nice thick booklet. So this poster, you have the, let's see, which one is this? Oh, this is In the Line of Duty 2. Yes, Madame. And then on the back you have the original poster art of these. And then you get another poster here which has the artwork of, let's see what this is. This seems, I usually don't unfold these because I don't like to damage them, but this is the first film, In the Line of Duty 1. And then on the back we have, let's see, it seems just like the first film as well. So the first 2 films, of course, are the most popular because of Michelle Yeoh, so those are what the posters are based off of. And then finally you got a nice thick color booklet that talks about the series, all the films, essays about them, how they were made, poster art, all that kind of stuff. There's some more Korean. So a really nice, thick, colored booklet here from 88 Films that talks about the series. Really nice edition of these 4 films. 88 Films usually do crush it when it comes to their editions. They did in the UK, and they have now here when they start releasing some of these stuff here in the States recently. Let me get these back in. So overall, really nice edition. I think this will fetch you like $60. I mean, it's worth it. It's really high quality, nice 4-film set with some good bonus goodies in there. I wish there was some more features on this set. Really, only the second and third film have any sort of new interviews, and the rest are just new commentary tracks. I wish they would have tried to do a little bit more effort with the first and the fourth film, since, in my opinion, those are the best too. But unfortunately, it doesn't have any of that. But it's still a really nice package. If you're a fan of Hong Kong martial art films or Hong Kong films in general, you're definitely going to want to pick this up on Blu-ray when it drops in May. So that's my review of In the Line of Duty 1 through 4. If you guys like this review, please give it a thumbs up. And as always, you can follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/NESWorld22. Hope everybody's doing well, and I shall talk to you guys soon. See you guys.